Hello, everybody. Welcome to podcast number...
I don't know.
Podcast number this.
And you'll have to deal with the fan sound. It's too hot.
It's hot out today.
This is the hottest it's been all summer this week.
And you're wearing like a flannel.
It's really loose though.
It's still extra I just touched like drool or something.
It's wet because I got toothpaste on it.
Ooh.
So I tried, it's just wet because I wiped it off.
I got toothpaste on my floor before I came here.
So.
We're messy toothpaste users apparently.
It wasn't me. It was on the sink and I leaned forward.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
But they didn't clean it, so I leaned forward to put my contacts in and I didn't know. And then I looked down and there's
That's
this huge thing of toothpaste on my clothes.
It's the worst when that happens when you're like about to like leave for work and then it happens and you're like, well, now I'm either gonna have to work with a giant toothpaste stain or I'm gonna have to go and like change. No, it's so hard to get out. So if you spill toothpaste on your counter, clean it up, especially if it's on the edge.
Yeah, it was this huge thing and I didn't see it before I put my contacts in because I didn't have my glasses on.
I hate that.
Yeah. So it wasn't me.
But believe it or not, our topic today is not toothpaste related. The topic idea today is how did I get myself into this? Basically stories of scenarios where we're like, how did this happen? What have I gotten myself into?
I know I have plenty, but I can't think of any, so I'm hoping...
Think of one right now.
I don't know. I probably block them from my memory. Anything embarrassing or anything like, I block it so hard, but then I'll remember when I go to bed and sleep.
Oh yeah, I remember some embarrassing things and I'm like, I'm not going to talk about those on a podcast though.
Oh no, is there a fly on you? He's acting like he's traumatized.
He's hunting. I don't even know if you can see him anymore.
It's too dark.
We're also blocking him. Especially me.
Looks traumatized.
He's just frozen. So, my first story of how did I get myself into this? She thinks I've talked about it before. I don't think I have. I don't remember talking about it.
I've heard this story like 1,001 times.
You've heard this story. But they have not.
I think you have told it on a podcast, one of them, randomly.
I really don't think so.
I think you have. So if it's a repeat...
Then that's her fault.
No.
Because she didn't go and check. Because she thought it was
Let's talk
there.
about Ashley's memory real quick. So I'm editing at Dead of Night. I put two back to back. In one of the episodes, we unlocked stair floor 2 and 3. And the next episode, Ashley's yelling at me because she's saying we didn't unlock 2 and 3.
Listen, it had been several days.
And here I am going, why are you yelling at me? We did unlock it. And there's the proof. So let's just talk about Ashley's memory, okay?
I don't think there's nothing to talk about because it's just not there.
She doesn't have a good memory.
It's just not there. I can only remember so much.
It's okay, I cut out the part where she's yelling at me. You guys need to hear. It sounds kind of mean.
I don't even remember yelling at you.
You did. You're like, you never want blah, blah. And I was just like, but we unlocked it. Like, why are you yelling at me?
Listen, I can remember things from like when I was like 5. I cannot remember things that just happened.
Oh, I can't remember.
I have long-term memory, not short-term.
Short-term is better than long-term.
I'll like walk.
I've already forgotten my high school years and college. I only remember my college senior year, and that's very brief. It's very blurry.
See, I can remember it as long as the idea is sparked. That's the thing.
I have to dig really deep for it.
Memories are a crazy thing. But yeah. So this story of how did I get myself into this? This was kind of high school. It was the summer after we graduated, so I think it was 2016?
Yes.
Yes. So I was 18 at the time. This was back when I used to attend church and volunteer at it. And there's this like church camp that's like up in the mountains up north in New Hampshire. And they had like summer camp weeks. And they had a scholarship that they were going to give out. So I don't remember who it was. Somebody from the church, probably a CE director or whatever, was like, do you want this? I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm 18. It's the last chance I'll ever get to go to summer camp because I had never been before. My family couldn't afford summer camps.
I've never wanted to go to summer camp.
I didn't know about summer camps. It was just something like I was not an informed child. I didn't know about what was going on. My parents didn't involve me in my
I hate the summer,
extracurriculars.
so just sounding like being forced to do things all summer, not my
See,
cup of tea.
I like that type of stuff. And I had been up at that camp before on like youth group trips, and it's a really pretty area. So I was like, yeah, I'll go up. I'll try to branch out and expand myself. This was a very intimidating experience because I was gonna be the only one that I knew there. And if you know me, that's not a situation I'll usually put myself in. So, already intimidating. Got off to a bad start there because there was some issue with my registration. I don't even know what it was, but I never got sent a packing list, so I didn't know like what I needed. So I was just like, okay, I'll just bring like the basics that I would need for like scout camp or whatever, like clothes, toiletries, notebooks. I probably brought a mess kit or something. So I didn't get there. I also got there late because my parents didn't want to bring me there. So luckily my aunts had a Girl Scout meeting up in Vermont, I think. So it was like kind of close in the same kind of area. So I went up to there with them, and then we went from there, and they dropped me off. But because of like the timing or like getting lost or whatever.
And I don't even know Ashley at this point.
We knew each other.
In the summer? No.
Yeah, that was after high school. We had known eeach other since the fall before.
Oh, yeah, but we weren't quite close quite yet.
That was like when we were starting to get close.
Yeah.
But,
I suppose.
See? Long-term memory. Not there.
There's a fly on the pillow.
He's hunting a fly. But anyways, so it got there late. I was the last one there. So I didn't get to sign up for like all the groups that I wanted to because I don't know if it's like this in all groups, but there was like, so it was an arts and crafts or arts on the mountain was the theme of it. So it's arts like physical art, like drawing, painting, theater, music, and stuff like that. And you could like sign up for like the different workshops. And there's some that I would have really liked to do, but they were all filled up by the time I got there because I got there late. And then they couldn't find my registration or something. Something went weird.
He's trying to get back. He's looking for the fly.
Yeah, so got there late. And then I had never been to summer camp before. I didn't know this one. It was pretty small. I think there was probably only about like 14 of us. I was also the oldest one there because I think it was like aged 13 to 18 or 14 to 18, something like that. So like 13, 14 was the youngest age. And then it was mostly like 15, 16-year-olds. And then
It's fine, you look
me.
12.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Nobody believed I was 18. So it was like really weird. So, and a lot of them already knew each other. Like the friend groups were already formed because a lot of them have gone to camp there previously at other weeks. And then obviously they were all there on time. So they got to mingle with each other. I just showed up out of the blue. So not my age group really. Didn't know anybody. They already had their friends. So I was like an outcast the entire time. But yeah, and then I think at that first night's dinner, because obviously we like put into cabins and like put into groups, and we had our own like camp counselor leader. That night at dinner, they passed around these slips for hike day. So hike day was, I believe, in the middle of the week, and you got to choose whether you signed up for a easy hike, a medium level hike, or a hard hike. And I was like, I'll challenge myself. I'll do hard. And like, it's a bunch of younger girls. It's an arts weekend. How tough could it be? Keep in mind, I'm severely misinformed and unprepared. So hike week came around. Hike day. I keep saying hike week. It's hike day. There's all sorts of other stories I can tell about that. It was basically just like, I was going through it. I was okay. I was very awkward because, like I said, I was the outcast. And then, because of that, also keep in mind, I'm going off too many tracks. So let's just skip to hike day. Actually, no, not hike day, the day before. Is it the day before or the day before that? It wasn't hike day. Because obviously they were like, okay, split into all the people doing the easy one, come over here, medium over here, hard over here. Then we'll put the leaders for that walk with you, and you'll go over like what you're doing and everything, what you need to bring. I found out that night the hike was a 9-mile 10-hour hike to summit a mountain. Mount Madison, a 5,000 footer, as they called it. So I was like, what? And at this time I was like, I think I'm in too deep. I don't think I can change my mind now. I think I just have to roll with this.
You probably could have.
Yeah, I think I could have, but
You
I was
could have
also
gone
like,
up to them and be like, I can't.
I could have, but me being me, I'm like, that requires interaction. And also me being like, Mama didn't raise no quitter. So I wasn't gonna.
I would be like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
So I was like, alright, I guess I'm doing this. But because I was like so underpacked, they were going through and making sure everybody had the proper equipment for it. They took like one look at the shoes that I brought and they're like, no, you need different shoes. We're gonna go find your shoes. Because I had these like cheap Walmart knockoff, just like canvas shoes. They had no support, beaten up, not good for hiking. I didn't have a proper water bottle size because you need like 2 liters of water. Didn't have that. I don't even remember if I had one. I think I had one, but it was not big. Didn't have a backpack. Needed a backpack, so they got me a backpack. Yeah, so a bunch of stuff I just was not prepared with because they never sent me a packing list. So, yeah. So they got me all that stuff. I had to borrow it, and then hike day comes. It was like, I don't remember what time. It was early in the morning. I think it was like 8 or 9 a.m. We left, got dropped off, and we started hiking the mountain. Yeah, so I'm good. It was a very hot and humid day that day. Like, I drank all of 2 liters of water. I did not have to pee on the mountain once, because I think I just sweated it all out. I was doing okay. Like, this was like, I thought their hikes would be just like trail walking. This was a legitimate hike. Like, up a mountain, like, we were climbing up rocks, climbing up boulders, traversing through, like, this mountain, like, environment, and I was like, oh my god, I am going to die. So I was, like, obviously the last in line. I was falling behind. I was, like, heaving, so I was like, because I'm, like, out of shape. All these people have probably been, like, on plenty of hikes before. They were well-trained. And then, like, a quarter to a halfway up the mountain, I mentioned to one of the leaders that this was my first ever, like, hike, and she was like, oh. And I was like, yeah, because we did have code words, because it was, I think it was, like, if we went, like, yellow light or something, it was to, like, slow down the pace. Red light was, like, stop, I need a break. I was trying to, like, not, like, hold back people, but, like, I was trailing behind. We did, like, a few breaks. They were just, like, all going. There was only 5 of us, too. It was me, 2 other campers, and 2 leaders. So we were obviously the smallest group, because the others probably knew what they were getting themselves into. Yeah, had some breaks. I'm trying to remember, nothing too treacherous happened. But yeah, we made it to the top.
It's bothering. It's like, it's flying around him specifically.
But yeah, I don't know what time we made it up to the Hounding, but it was a great view and everything. And then on the way down, I think the way down was different from going up. I think that just might be how they usually are. At one point, going down, this was close to, like, just starting to go down, we were literally, like, scaling the side of a mountain. Like, it was, like, almost vertical. It was just, like, rocks. I felt like a mountain goat. We were just, like, carefully stepping over. I think, one of the girls dropped a water bottle into, like, this little crevice. So, like, they managed to get it out with, like, one of the leaders, like, walking sticks. So that was interesting. But, yeah, we made it down. I think we got back at, like, 7 p.m. All the other campers that were obviously already back, they had finished their hikes much earlier. So they had all already eaten dinner. So we got back. I think we got to shower and then eat, or we ate and then showered. It was one of them. I just remember, though, that shower felt incredible. Oh, I missed the point where when we were walking down, my feet were so tired and so hurting. Like, I don't even remember if they were hurting or not, or if they were just numb, but my ankles were just, like, rolling with every step. So I was just, like, I'd take one step and my ankle was just, like, oh. And I was like, this is where I die. Because there were so many times up there where I was, like, I don't know if I can go on. I should probably tell them, like, I can't do it. But then I was like, also, but they are all determined to make it to the top. I don't want to pull them back. That wouldn't be fair to them. So I was like, screw my own safety. So I kept going. I was like, I'm going to see this through. I got myself stuck in this. I'm going to keep going. Mama didn't raise no quitter. Moral of the story. So yeah, I think it was like chicken and veggies.
But it is
really
okay
good.
to quit when you need to quit.
Yes. If something's
Don't
too
take
hard for you.
pride in the fact that your mom didn't raise no quitters.
My mom did probably raise a quitter.
There's differences.
Yeah. Be safe. If you're
Like
ever
a
in a
mountain
situation,
thing, it would have been okay to say no.
yeah.
If you couldn't do it,
This was
you
just
can't
like
do
me.
it.
I just got myself into that situation, and I was like, well, I'm gonna see it through because I'm determined. I think it was for my own like satisfaction too, where I was like, okay, I committed to this. I want to finish it. I want to push through.
It's like my journalism degree. I was like,
I just want to be able to say that I did this. So I did it. That dinner was incredible. The shower felt amazing. I was shockingly, by some otherworldly like force, the next day I didn't hurt. I slept soundly that night, that's for sure. But yeah, that's a situation I got myself into. Ever find yourself in a similar situation?
Probably anytime I go out with my mom. I don't know. I mean, I think I talked about how I didn't really want to do journalism, but my advisor didn't really tell me what it was. She just said, oh, look, there's TV production, because I kind of wanted to learn about TV.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know it was like TV as in journalism. And then when I went to my first class, I was like, I don't want to be here. And it was really hard, and I hated it, but I was like, how did I get stuck in this? But I'm going to do it anyways, because I'm not going to go and just like take it out of my curriculum. So I hated every single moment I was in journalism.
Getting into college classes is a pain, because I was like, oh, if it's not for you, it's fine. You can just drop out and pick another. But that doesn't work, because it doesn't necessarily work with your schedule, and classes fill up. So.
Well, just that, and when it comes to quitting, I can't quit things like that.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, but that's
she's like me.
That's a way different situation.
I think there's probably a class like that where I was like, I don't need this, I don't want to do this, but I was like, I'm going to do it anyways. I can't remember what.
Probably Camp Blood. I didn't want to do. Actually, my mom pressured me a lot to do things I don't want to do.
I'm not as bad as your mom.
My mom's like, you're not my child. Ashley's my child. And my mom would just keep going and going and going. But I'm pretty stubborn, so like nothing. I will be pushed over if some part of me is like curious a little bit or somewhat okay with it. But like if it's something like I truly, truly, truly do not want to do, you'll never get me to do it otherwise.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the same way.
I'm not a pushover. I can say that. I'm pretty stubborn when it comes to something that I do not want to do. So, I mean, there's that about me. I guess it's probably a good quality. It's like, you want drugs? No. F off. And they'd be like, you're stupid or whatever. I'd be like, yeah, I don't care. Bye. Like, I don't know. So I got that going for me. Probably anytime I went to the Lizzie Borden house. So.
Haven't you been like 3 times?
Well, the first time was because I was doing a research paper.
Yeah, because we have talked about this.
I never really thought about it being haunted. Because I was in like maybe like the 8th grade or something. And then my mom had me like watch all these ghost shows on there. So then we were going.
You should have just gone in blind.
And then I was going. I was getting more and more scared. But I was going for like the history of it. Mm-hmm. And then you go and they're like, this place is haunted. And you're like, why? So I was like,
what do you mean?
I was like very upset. And then the second time, we went to like Wahlburgers or something, and it's kind of close to Fall River.
What is that?
It's just a burger place.
Okay.
And it's like somebody's New Kids on the Block or other chain thing. And Maddie was with us, and I think maybe my aunt and some other people. And Mom's like, we just want to go, swing around and hit Lizzie Borden. And I was like having like a meltdown because I didn't want to go again. But I got overruled.
That's probably why they wanted to go there, because they were probably like, oh yeah, that's really cool, but also we can go here again. We'll just not tell Michaela about that.
So it was my mom's second time, my, second time, but everyone else's first time, and I was just having like a meltdown. I could tell Maddie felt bad, but Maddie did want to go. And one of my brothers ended up staying in the car, but they kept the car on the whole time, so then the battery was dead. So we couldn't even leave right away. So, yeah. I didn't want to stay in the car with them because if I saw something while I was in the car,
they were just gonna let you run into the house.
No, but here's my logic: be with a bunch of people and see something, or be by myself with like one other person and see something. To me, the logic was like, go with everybody.
Safety in numbers, and also like if something happens and there's more people there, they're more likely to believe you. They're like, you'll never guess what I saw over by myself.
It's not the believing thing, but also when there's more people, ghosts don't tend to show up.
Unless you're like Phasmophobia, where it's like you have to be in a group to get them to haunt you.
That's once in a while. Because usually, like, if it's like a loud group and stuff, so I'm like, I'm gonna go put myself with everybody, even though I don't want to step foot in there.
Yeah, and it's like bigger groups means more talking, more goofing around. You're less likely to like hear something. Probably the spirits will be less scared.
Yeah, it's like anytime. Like my mom took me to a haunted maze once again with Maddie and Lisa. And maybe some other people I can't remember. And I was like in the middle of the group. It was a haunted maze that you had to go through. And of course they picked me. And they're like, what's your name? And I was like, they're like, now you have to lead the group. And it's like,
never tell them your name. It's like the fae or the fairs. They're like, can I have your name or whatever? You're not supposed to say your name, because if they do, then it's yours and theirs, and that you don't have your name anymore. They're your name now. You know what I'm talking about?
But anyway, so yeah, and they're like, you have to lead the group now. And I was like, why? But it's okay because Lisa led instead. And I was like, Lisa's like, I'll be you. And I was like, sounds good.
She's a leader.
Sounds good. Bye, Lisa.
I'll help pack.
But yeah, Camp Blood probably.
Have you explained what Camp Blood is? I think we have another podcast, but just in case they haven't seen
Camp Blood is like a real life RG. How is it? RG roleplay. What's the acronym?
LARPing. Live action role playing.
Yeah. It's like that, but
it's
with
a real life horror experience.
Yeah, and the first one I went to. Once again, nothing that I truly wanted to go, but Ashley wanted to go. She's like, well, I can't go. And then it's like a guilt. But I'm not going to go if you don't go, but I really want to go. And you're like, well, God, now it's my fault, then you're unhappy. So it's like a guilt thing.
Not intentional.
Her and my mom do it all the time. They guilt me into doing things.
It's not intentional on my end. I was just being honest. Like, if you don't go, I'm not going to go.
But then she's like, I'm upset now that I'm not going.
I wasn't comfortable with their parents at that point. I mean, I probably would be like now if I went with your mom.
Yeah, I just send her off to do things with my mom because I don't want to do things with my mom. But they're
Me
pretty.
And your mom haven't actually done anything.
Yeah, but no, they're very similar. Like, mom's like, I want to go something. I'm like, just take Ashley. And she's like, but I want to take you. I'm like, no, you can just take Ashley.
I'm not good enough. You're the child.
Well, she says Ashley should have been her child, not me, because I'm not alike enough to her, I guess.
There's fun in differences.
Because Ashley will go have fun, like things like that. But I have like self-preservation. I'm not gonna go do these crazy things.
See, my family's not like that. My family doesn't do anything.
Like, let's go see an abandoned house. I'm like, cool, but you know what I'm scared of? Homeless people stabbing me because I'm in their property.
Yeah, my fear about like going to abandoned places is just getting caught and like getting in trouble for trespassing. That's my issue,
my scare is like junkies or something, and
yeah, that too.
Running
like,
into
like
them.
A gang area,
yeah,
or something you don't know about.
Yeah.
Like I want to do urban exploring so bad, but it's like there's not really much around here, and it's also like what's there? What can we get in trouble for? What will we get in trouble doing?
Yeah, because it's literally just
that
being potentially stabbed.
I'm sure that I would have a story about that for this podcast if I was able to do that.
Oh yeah, also like at Camp Blood there was like an abandoned house there once.
Yeah.
We went in that.
You didn't stay in very long.
I didn't want to. Once again, I'm not gonna, people like to guilt trip me and say I'm not fun all the time, but I really don't want to do things. I'm not going to do things. And people should leave me alone when I say no. Because then I say no, and then you ask again, and I get more snappy, and obviously
and then people
more
are
snappy.
Like, why are you being so crabby?
Be like, now you just ruined my mood. I'm like, well, I said no.
You ruined her mood.
Be like, I said no. You should respect that I said no, and leave me alone.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't want to be in this situation, I should not have to be in this situation.
Don't peer pressure people. Don't hate.
But that's the thing. If they say no, but they seem uncertain that they said no, you can ask one more time. Because sometimes you get like a no, like they don't really know. So then you can ask again to make sure. But any more after that,
it's like, no, they don't like it. They don't like it.
Leave them alone, please. Because then you're just guilting them. They're in a bad mood, and then when they go with you, they're gonna put you in a bad mood because they didn't want to come. So everything like that. So pretty much probably anything I've done with my mom. She's gonna watch this and get mad at me.
You're like, you putting me on blast for the internet?
I'm not saying it's not fun. It's just she likes to do things that I don't like to do.
There was like one. Are we gonna talk about Camp Blood a little bit?
Yeah, you can.
So there was one. It was the second one that we went to. It was It themed. They did it a bit differently. So we were. I still want to know how they decided the groups. Basically, they just like randomly just like went by you and be like, "Hey," and they slipped you a popsicle stick.
And I was like, "No."
And it was a different color with a different name, and it was basically a group based on like each character.
Like here's the Donnies or whatever their names are.
Eddie.
Ben's.
I think I was an Eddie.
Was I a Ben? Whoever the leader is, I was in that group.
Yeah, I think you were in. No, Ben wasn't the leader. Was Ben the...
I went leader because they're all kind of leaders, but he was a little bit more...
I'm forgetting their names.
Listen, guys, it's been quite a few years.
So there was like Ben's, Eddie's, Richie's,
whatever the girl's name
Beverly's.
is. Yeah.
Different ones for that. I was an Eddie, and I just want to know like how they decided that. Like, did they base it off of like personality, or like this is who I think you would be, or was it just completely random?
I think a little bit if they knew you, it was based off. Because
if we ever talk to him again, I want to ask him and be like, what was this about? I'm so curious. I want to know what was your rationale for putting me in
But yeah, every time I go to
in
Camp
the crazy
Blood,
hypochondriac, how do you think I'm like that person at all?
Every time I go to Camp Blood, I'm like, how did I get here?
But yeah, so in that particular one, because we were just given random ones, we were all split up.
It was a great concept, but people didn't really like abide by it.
Yeah, it was a great concept. It was super
Not a
interesting
good group.
to me because it was like, you know, the groups were kind of big and people were like going off and kind of like cheating. But
it was just the people, I guess, who played that particular situation. But I really like the concept that you had to be with Eddie's to go solve a clue that Eddie had to solve. Because then at the end, like, there was one Beverly, one Eddie, one Ben.
But people were kind of like trading clues and it was getting confusing.
I got left behind. My whole group left me. So then I joined a random group. And then you just hear around the camp, Ben's! Where are the Ben's?
Eddie's! I think I kind of like made myself a little bit of a leader in that because obviously that was like a new situation. As I said before, I was not with anybody I knew, so I was like, okay, gotta step into this, gotta step up, and like it was just so chaotic. I was like, all right, Eddie's over here, and I was like, it was me and like one or two other people I think were the main.
I got stung.
Is like eyeball
right here.
Oh, did you get bit or is it?
Yeah,
like,
I think you got bit.
Oh, is that why you were chasing it so hard? Poor guy. But yeah, so it was like we were like the main leaders of it. So like we were giving out like the commands, like okay, you go over here, you go over here. We were like one of the first to like go check out an area
I
to
let
like keep
myself
guard.
get murdered at one point.
I was determined. I did not want to die. I was like, I want to be a survivor.
Listen, I got pushed down the stairs. And
yeah, she got like launched down a set of stairs.
You should have seen my bruises.
They're awful. Do you want to include photos?
No, there are some.
She was straight up purple for weeks.
Yeah, my body was like, and
it was like her ribs, her thighs, her arms.
Oh, right here on my like hip bone.
Her hip.
They took a long time
to
heal.
Like,
I was scraped.
She was like limping for weeks.
I don't think I was limping. I was not that
but
severe.
Like she was like hurting and marked for a long time.
Yeah, because we went to go like run out of his cabin, and of course when you run down the stairs, I went to slow down a little bit so I wouldn't trip. But people behind me didn't have the same common sense and just slammed right into me.
Herd mentality, because they're not like, okay, this actor's gonna go easy on us because we're right by stairs. They're like, no, move.
They would have
face first down the stairs.
They would have let people just
walk they would have. That's what I'm saying. But the people, they're like, no. And of course, obviously, I didn't know about this. Like, we didn't have our phones.
I was just sitting.
I mean, we had them, but we weren't.
I was just sitting with the actor in the cafeteria or whatever, just like, I'm dead. Because after you died, you could have joined the game.
I mean, isn't this kind of like how you formed a bond with Rob? Because he was the actor, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was like,
yeah. So
okay?
the gentleman who we guested on his podcast before, he was there to produce me that. But I had just
He felt bad. It was not his fault. It was people who didn't slow down when it came to stairs.
Yeah, no, it was not his fault. It was the other people who were just not careful. I was on the other side of the campground, but I think what had just happened was I think I died, not because I was being stupid, because I was betrayed. I am still salty. So there was like, I think it was the Georgie ghost. In order to like not get killed by it, you had to like link arms or like be touching in some way, and he wouldn't be able to like get you. So all you had to do was just like link arms and stay together and just walk away and be safe. So I think we were like holding hands with like one of the other people in my team. There was like a few of us because like those groups are big, so like we got split up quite a bit, and we were like being cornered by these like Georgie ghosts. There was like a clown or something coming down the way, and then you know what he did? He had my hand. He dropped it and ran, and then because the George was right in front of me, he just went
It's funny
You're
because
dead.
Ashley died right after I purposely had Rob kill me.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Do you want to die?" And I was like, "Yeah."
please. And I was so mad. I was like...
Yeah, she came in like seconds later, and
Yeah, I came in like almost right as it happened because I killed and I was like, I don't know, I'm supposed to go now. So then I just like, I was like, I'm by myself. So I went to, I think it was because I needed to get a glow stick to mark that I was dead. So I think I was trying to find that.
Everyone had
or
to go get
to
glow
like
sticks.
the main like hub area to get that. And then that's where I ran into her and she's like, look what happened. And I was like, what happened to you? What happened?
I was like, "Oh, look at me, I'm
Like, I'm a
bleeding."
mess, and I'm like, what did you do?
I
I'm gone
like-
for an hour and this happens?
I had like a bomber jacket, so like in my zipper I had like my inhaler. So when I went down, I landed on the inhaler, so that was a huge bruise. It broke my jacket and the inhaler. So I like when I went down, I mean like face first, right into the gravel.
They were
pretty
like,
hard.
I'm pretty sure the steps were like,
And people landed on me.
were they full wooden or are they the type that it's like wooden, like perimeter with like gravel in the middle?
There was not gravel. It was like gravel. I don't quite
It was
remember.
a gravel ground, but the steps were wooden.
Yeah.
And there wasn't that many. There was like 3 or 4, but they're like
I
kind
was
of
just at the
steep
very
and
top.
long. She was at the top in the doorway, and she got just thrown
Yeah, because
down them.
I was running and I slowed down because I'm like the stairs did not have like railings, so it's not like I could run down and grab
Because
onto
it's like
them.
there's stairs going out of a cabin. Like there's stairs there because it's like on a hill, so it's just to like level out to get you on the ground. But
So like I slowed down because I'm not gonna run downstairs and trip and do it to myself. But other people did not have the common sense and
No.
didn't do it.
very shopper mentality.
Yeah. And then I went to the person who like runs the game, and I'm like, I got pushed down the stairs, and he got so mad on my behalf. I'm like, it was an accident, but I got pushed down the stairs.
He was livid. I think didn't he like call attention to that like afterwards, like how awful people were.
I don't know. He's a really nice guy.
He's super nice. But yeah, there was a few issues in that. But it was
Great
super
gameplay.
fun. I would love to do it again.
He set it up well. I think
It
it was
was
just the
very
people
good.
who played it.
Yeah, the people, it was like the personalities did not mix, and there's people that were just in it to win it, not in it to like have fun and enjoy it, and in that process they kind of destroyed it along the way and like destroyed it for other
There's
people.
some
was the main
awful
thing.
people that, I mean, I'm not saying can't, but I'm just saying in general, there's awful people who will go to like these things and you're like, why are you here? Because you can tell they don't want to ever be
Because
there.
the thing was, like, once we found a clue, we were supposed to keep it there for other people to find. But some people never found their clues and weren't able to figure out their mystery because people just took the clues.
Yeah. People
they
just
left.
don't listen.
Yeah.
We
They were all adults,
We always
too.
have a great time though, even though
Yeah,
I
it's
fell
always
down the
so fun.
stairs
I want to go back
or whatever.
again once we're able.
I always have fun.
Yeah.
So nothing has ruined my experience. It's just some gameplays don't work
Yeah.
with certain people.
There is a waiver involved, as you can see why. Like, that because of that, some people have, like, pretty early on, before it even, like, really started, somebody, like, tripped and, like, broke their knee or something. I think it was, like, that same one.
It was the same one. It was like wet out, so they slipped.
Yeah, he, like, slipped on a rock. It's because, like, there was, like a teaser, like, they came out and, like, tried to use, but, like, it hadn't actually started yet, so everybody, like, booked it, and I think he was, like, an older guy.
I don't know.
And he just, like, tripped and, like, broke his knees. We're, like, off to a great start. Another one, at a previous one, a girl, like, slipped and, like, broke her elbow.
It is range. It's every single one we have gone to.
and it always makes it so hard because when you're wearing glasses, it's hard to see with the rain. And it also makes it super slippery because there's, like, grass and dirt, so it's, like, you're running and it's, like, I have to be dry one time.
But that doesn't ruin the experience, so just go.
No.
That shouldn't scare you. This is us
No.
being stupid. It's not like the gameplay or the actors.
No, it's just people
literally
not
just-
being careful.
It's just people being stupid. So, like, I blame the fall on me and whoever pushed me.
I blame them. I don't blame you.
So, So, like, that's on me and everything.
It's
Just, like, that's on them.
Because if they have people behind them and then there's you in front of them, there's no need to push you because they're in the middle. They're not going to get
I don't know
tagged.
if, like,
They're not
there's an
gonna get
active,
pushed.
like, this
But just,
or
like,
a
the shoving
slam.
pass. But it's, like, just common sense. Don't do that on
People's,
stairs.
like, fear instincts take over too much.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a game, and yes, like, my adrenaline's going, and I'm running because I want to survive.
Yeah, I think it's more
But-
like tension, but not really fear.
But these people, like, that we have played with before, like, get so scared that they will shove you
Yeah.
and, like, to move you.
Yeah, it's very weird because it's like I've never been scared playing it like tense and like are they there? Like oh maybe a little creeped out if you find yourself like alone in the middle of the woods and you're like where am I? But I'm never like scared, so it's a good like feeling. to be
Yeah,
there.
I mean, I definitely suggest going and
Yes.
playing at least once.
Yes.
But they usually have different themes, so, like, pick a theme that you know that you like. Like, Friday the 13th or It or whatever they're going to do.
Yeah. He has a lot planned. Had a lot planned, but because of COVID things, obviously.
Yeah. But they're a great gameplay. I sent my mom to the first one, and that's how did I get myself into
That's
this
how you-
situation?
That's
That
how you
is
got
a clear.
yourself.
It's a clear one. Like, so for my mom's birthday, obviously my mom loves horror and scary stuff. My mom's birthday is in July. So I went onto the web and I was searching for hours trying to find any, like, spooky stuff in July. Now this place shows up and I was like, okay, so I got my mom a ticket and she brought my dad. I think she brought Alex and Mike, so my aunt and uncle, to go with them. And at this point, we didn't know if I was actually sending them to die because we didn't know if, like, it was real or real people. I'm like, what if they were just selling tickets, but it's, like, actually setting you up to be slaughtered?
Like, what if there's gonna be an actual like freak there that's gonna like, kill us
So
all?
they did, like, so they went live a lot, and I was working, but I didn't care. I'm like, sorry guys, I gotta make sure my parents are still alive and I didn't kill them. So I would watch it. No, that's something maybe we should have my mom talk about. But
Oh, yeah, we
because
should
that's
have her
definitely
on.
a situation like Ashley's
kinda
Mountain.
funny.
How did I get in here?
How did I get myself here? It all started with that.
Yeah,
And then
so
the ball went rolling,
it's
and her mom was
funny.
like, "Guess what? We're going back, and you're going."
they were actually really scared because it was the element of they didn't know the people who owned it. They didn't know if they were actually going to get stabbed. They had no clue where they were. So it was like when it's your first time, you don't know anything or anyone. It's truly scary. But then when you start to learn the people, because some people just go to all of them, you get more comfortable. But
yeah, it's very much there's.
they
very
were
much a, set group of,
scary.
like,
They were
returners.
so scared. My dad tripped. He was on live when he tripped, so it's kind of funny.
I
He
think I
just
remember
wasn't
seeing
looking where
that.
he was going, and just
You hear oof, and the camera just like jerked.
I think if you go on the Camp Bloods page, I think their live stuff is on there.
I think they made like a highlights video
Yeah.
or something out of them.
Yeah, I think the owner asked if he
And her
could because they
mom
were
was just-
hilarious.
And her mom just has like on selfie mode. She's walking through this. She's like, I don't know where
I
we're
can't
going.
find
I
him.
can't find anybody.
He
I
left
lost
me."
Eric. He left me for dead. Now we're lost.
Alex is puking. It was pretty funny. We went really off topic.
It's still kind of on topic. How did we get ourselves here?
Yeah, so it's really funny. So if you guys are curious, you should go check it out. It was just those live videos were like peak comedy because they were actually scared. And I know I would text my mom and be like, "You still alive?" She'd be like, "Yep." I'm like, "Cool." And she's like, "Here is where I am in case I do not come home." And I was like, "Cool, cool. All right, sounds good." And then I was just nervous because I'm like, "What if I set my mom off to die? Then I might go to jail for accidental murder."
I don't think you would. Because they were like, oh, this naive little girl got scammed into murder. And you'd be like, I didn't know what I was doing. You're just there pulling the bars like, I didn't know. It was said it was an event. Rattling the mug against the like, oh, let me out.
I didn't actually commit the crime. I don't know.
They're like, no, you must have been in cahoots. Oh, you minimized.
I don't know. Anything probably with our first internship. Probably anything we did with that. I was like, how did we get here?
Oh yeah, didn't you have like a specific? There was one point for me. So obviously we both went in to be PAs, and then I ended up.
I got
like,
her hired after me.
Yeah, so she went, and then they were like, "You
Somehow
have any
I got
friends?"
Ashley
and and she was like, "You want to come?" And so I was like, "Okay."
Somehow I usually always get Ashley involved. Don't know how. Not like I straight out ask. Like, same with Clark. Somehow I get you there. Like, I don't know.
I think Frogcast. I don't remember exactly. We also had my cousin involved for a little bit with us too. But yeah, there was one point. So we were PAs. I think you were supposed to be like assistant.
I don't know what I was.
I had like a bunch of hats.
Sometimes I did camera work. Sometimes I did skits for them.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they made me be a PA where I would run and get food. And I know that I was young then too, so I was. Obviously, I've grown up now, so I was obviously
I think
a
we were
kid.
probably still teens. We were probably around like 18
We just
or 19.
turned 18. We just
Was
turned
it
18.
during school?
It was before our first. It was before our first year of college into college. Our first year of college.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So it was like right before and then during it.
So like the same summer that. So we just graduated high school. Okay. Because
So
it
we
was
were
in the
18.
winter too, wasn't it?
Yeah, like
In the
it went
spring?
through school. We spent quite a
Okay.
bit of time. But it. Yeah, so we
Yeah,
were
so we
young,
weren't at
so
college
I
yet.
know when I was that age, I was getting frustrated because I would have something like super duper important, like doing camera work, or something as meager as going to go get water. And I know it just made me really mad.
Yeah, she was like camera person, assistant director, PA, and then like I was like PA/location scout. But it's like I'm a young small girl. People aren't gonna take me seriously, and I didn't
sent
know anybody.
Her and
or
her
any
cousin
places.
to go to places to location scout, but they didn't know what they're doing, and
Yeah.
they had to write notes and like take pictures and talk
Yeah.
to people.
And
And
we were
I was
like, we didn't have any training for this. We don't know what we're doing. We're both socially anxious wrecks that we're like, how do we talk to people about this? They're not going to take us
But-
seriously.
But
Like, I
her
looked even
cousin's
younger
not
than
a
I
film
do now.
person.
No, she's
either,
not at all. She just
so-
came along because I think she thought it would be like fun or whatever. But yeah, and then eventually, like, once we switched locations and then things started like actually getting serious and like filming started, because I was helping her with the shorts, obviously. Was in the Mary Alice short, obviously.
But
How we got here. And then eventually he was like looking for roles and he was like, you want to act in it? Because I guess he liked the Mary Alice stuff, and so I was like, sure. So he put in a role for me. So that was also very weird. Like, this isn't what I was
But
gonna
that's
do.
also
But I was
how-
like, sure, I'm down for this. I'm into acting.
that's also how we learned of what not to do when it came to Mary Alice.
But the how did I get here act for me was, so there was gonna be this one scene where an actor was rigged upside down and like have his like, I don't know if we can say like the general topic of,
It was vampires.
yeah, so it was
It never
vampires.
came out. It fell
No,
apart,
it
so it
fell
doesn't
through.
matter.
So he was gonna get like, this character was gonna get like drained or whatever, so they were rigging up like this rope to have him suspended, and they were just having us just all test it. So it was just there, it was just like on a day of like shooting or setup
think-
or whatever. I was just dangling by my feet in an empty building, and like, what am I doing here?
I think if you go on my Instagram, there's pictures.
Oh yeah, we can probably include some pictures.
Just
in
go to
here.
my personal Instagram. You'll find that stuff.
Yeah, we can link it below. You'll have to scroll through. You don't post much.
I
though.
don't post anything, so you'll
just,
find
like,
it
scroll
really
and You'll
easily.
just see me like dangling. I have like a blue bandana, some tank top and shorts. I'm just there like.
It was so sad because she had such a great crew that
It
was
was
so
An
talented.
incredible location.
But
too.
none of us signed contracts, which is dangerous.
Mhm.
And
And it was just like a meshing of personalities and responsibilities. And
I
it
don't
just
know
didn't
exactly
work.
how it fell apart.
No, because obviously we weren't super involved with it. We weren't the main people. We were just there going along with whatever was happening. And we showed up one day and it was like, all right, guys, we're done. And not happening after this.
Yeah, but
It was confusing.
It sucked because we actually had like a whole building because this person had like a bar underneath. It was a huge building.
It was like a
bar.
warehouse almost. A bar on the bottom. It was like an empty like
second
workplace.
It was so weird because then the second floor was huge, but then if you went, there was like a secret.
Yeah, there was a secret
part
passageway with like.
in the second floor where it's like people could have lived there, or if it was offices.
Yeah, it was like trash and it looked like there were squatters there, so we were like, let's not stay around in here too
And
long
then
in
the
case
third
there are
floor
people here.
was. It was so weird. It looked like people lived there because there was like shelves of things, and it was so
Yeah,
weird. It's
and
hard to describe.
They had like these rolling things, like it was like a factory or something, but it was like an incredible place. It was like huge. They were in the middle of like building a set in the middle of one of them, like an actual set. And it was like an incredible place.
It
I don't
looks
think you'll
like-
ever find a place like that in this area.
Think about it, like a zombie apocalypse, the building got abandoned. That's exactly
Yeah.
what it looked like.
I think like when we were working on, I don't know if we can say this, but a section in like the book we're writing, I feel like we took kind of inspiration from that building.
I didn't. Not
Did we?
you may have in one of your parts,
I
but
may
I
have.
didn't.
But I think just the feel of it though.
Yeah.
Not like the look of it, just like the feel of it.
Yeah, because that place is definitely haunted. Because there's times when the director sent like one of us to the third floor to get something because something was forgotten.
It was always really creepy.
But when you would go up by yourself, you felt like you were being followed.
Yeah, you didn't feel alone.
No, so like I would always like get to the top of the stairs, go, and then I would just run.
Yeah, it was very, very creepy.
I would just run. Like the second floor, I felt okay,
That was
except
where
for the
most
secret
people
part.
were. Yeah, that
The
one was
secret part, like,
I was scared of like
made me
actual
nervous.
people in
No,
there.
me, I was scared of like things because when we filmed in that secret part, I was like actually scared something
Did
was
we
gonna
film
pop
in that
up.
secret
Yeah,
part?
we did.
What was
Yeah.
filmed in there?
A chase scene because of all how like it rounds the corners weirdly.
Because I know they built a chase scene up on the top floor
There was
with the
multiple.
pallets.
There is multiple.
Anyways,
things.
this would have been really cool if it worked through.
Yeah, great, good people. Don't exactly understand how
We
it
still
felt,
have
but-
connections through that. So
Great special effects person.
yeah.
Yeah, people were working for free, as far as I know. Very sad that it fell apart. But anything I really did for that thing, I was like, how did I freaking do that?
Yeah, it was like we were
Anything
doing
I
something and we
did.
were just like, how did we end up
That's
here?
probably the only place you'll ever see me personally be there where I feel like the building was haunted. But I was still going there willingly. Literally,
like-
that third floor was so creepy.
Yeah, it was really, because like you said, it was like abandoned like warehouse or like packaging facility or something. It was like, that is a very diverse building, just right smack in the
It was
middle
like
of a major
warehouse
city.
on the top floor. The second floor was like almost like a living area.
like
and
an
the third
like
floor,
a like an office building or something.
Yeah, it was so weird.
Very bizarre.
We found newspapers from like 9/11 there and everything. It was just so weird.
Yeah, it was like, that place had been like empty for a while. Like we were clearing out like a bunch of junk to move to the side, where it was like just lots of old stuff. I wonder what that building was. So obviously the bar. I think the bar was still functioning, was it? Or no, it was abandoned.
It was abandoned.
It was abandoned. Were they in the process of selling it and they were just like holding off so he
So
could like use
the
it?
building owner was gonna sell it, but they was letting him use it until
Mm. Which is a fantastic deal.
Mhm. But yeah, so anything I did for them, like one time we were outside waiting for them to let us in, and these people were trying to hit on us, and we were 18.
I know, there was
and
this,
we're
like,
"Ah!"
There is this one creepy guy. So it was like, it's right on like the main, like if you know Manchester, it was like right on Elm Street, which is like a very, very busy, very popular, lots of like people on the road, lots of people walking by. We were at this kind of like sketchy looking door because like nobody else was like there. We were the first ones there before the director, producer, and all of them got there. So we were just waiting to be let in. And so we're just standing outside the door, and this guy comes up to us. He's just being super creepy, and he's like, Hi
Name,
girls,
number.
yeah, he's like, well, what are you girls' names? She's muy bonita.
Mhm.
And we're like backing ourselves in like the corner, which
We're
like we
like-
shouldn't have done. We
we're
were just
like-
like just trying to like space, and we're like, no,
we were
leave
waiting
us
to be
alone.
let in, so like we're pushing ourselves more against the door.
We're just like, get away. And then luckily, was he producer
Assistant.
or assistant director?
Something like that.
He
We
was
won't say
like
his
the second like lead.
He was nice. He came out. He's like, "You guys good?" I'm like, "Just let us in."
He was like, he came in, he was like, hey buddy, what's up? And he was like, go girls, get in. And he like opened the door and like let us in, and then he like closed it and like told the other guy off and told him to get out. But he was really, really nice. He was a very protective person.
Yeah, it was nice. But yeah, we got off topic a little bit, kind of.
I mean, it's still involved in like, how did we get ourselves here? Because I'm sure that's what was also like in our minds, like, how do we get here? How do we get out of this?
I'm not a quitter, so I didn't quit. Even after
No.
I was called a brat, but I know I was way mad.
Did you want to tell that story?
Nah, we're good.
Alright. I had a couple others. They're not really as related or as interesting. I guess like, I don't know. You know these? Which is the next most relevant?
What's the flume jumper?
That's from when I worked at the Flume. Should I tell that one then?
Are you allowed to? Did you ever sign a contract with them saying you can't talk about that?
I don't see why not. So I worked at an amusement park. It's in New
Oh, yeah.
Hampshire. I don't see why I couldn't say. You can probably figure out which one it is. Southern New Hampshire, an amusement park. Pretty famous around here, used to work there. And there's this log flume, as are in most amusement parks. The water ride, you get in the logs, you go up through the little channels and up the hills. So ours had 2 hills. There was a 16-foot high one and a 40-foot high one. At the 40-foot high one, it is this little like booth that an operator would have to go up and climb in. So we had like 2 or 3 operators. So there's an operator on the floor in the flume, like letting people on, managing the ride, like make sure everything's going, doing like an emergency stop if needed. And then the other operator would be all the way up in the tippity top at the highest point, up 40 feet in the air in this little tiny box, this little booth. And you had to watch out the windows, make sure everybody was following the rules, making sure everyone was staying seated, not putting their hands in the water, keeping their phones away, because they're all safety hazards. And if somebody
People don't understand that they could actually die.
Yeah, no, it's dangerous. Like, keep your phone away, don't take your videos or whatever. There's a photo thing there, buy it if you want, but if you lose it, 1, you're gonna lose an expensive phone, Canopy's not gonna pay for it, and 2, you could damage the ride. Because phones in the water, it could like get trapped in like a gear or something. Which is also another reason. Keep your hands out of the water. Those boats weigh multiple tons. They are fiberglass. They are super heavy. You can crush your hand.
They have to be super heavy for your weight, to get the traction to go down, all these fun things. Physics.
Yeah. For all that weight, they are extremely heavy. They will crush your hand if you get your hand caught between the boat
and that's your own stupid fault.
And the side of the channel, or the boat in like a gear or something on the side, or if you get them in between like 2 boats somehow, your hand is getting crushed. Keep your hands out of the water. And then again with the what were you to say? I had something else to say to go off of what you said.
Your own fault?
No, before that, about the weight of them.
Oh yeah, physics. The weight of them, they're specifically heavy.
Oh, that's what. So, people will try to argue about how we seat them. So we'll say, if there's 2, it's 1 in the front, 1 in the back, tallest goes in the back. We always say the tallest go in the back because the taller people tend to be heavier. We want most of the weight in the back of the boat so it doesn't tip. So if there's like 2 adults, you would either want them both in the back or 1 in the back and 1 in the front. Heavier person always has to be in the back, because if a heavier people, if all the weight is in the front, it can flip over. You don't want that. So no like giving them a hard time about where you can sit, or like if you have like a couple heavy people, you might have to limit how many people can be on that, and each have their own.
Rides are scary. There's some people at amusement parks will put their hands underneath like the belts so that the belts don't go as heavy, but you can slip out and die. Like, there's a reason for these things, and
listen to the ride operators.
Like, they push so hard on that so like you have no chance of slipping out. But there's people who like somehow like put their hand underneath, so when they go to push down, it doesn't go down all the way.
Because they're like, oh, it's uncomfortable. It's like, it's keeping you alive. You should appreciate that you can feel it. If I feel like starting to loosen up, I'm gonna probably have a heart attack. But yeah, so, and then like people would they'll stand up and rearrange themselves mid-ride. Because then, you know what that does? Rock the boat. That's also another thing you're not allowed to do, because you can tip the boats over and fall out. You can smack your head on the pavement, on the concrete, on the boat, which again, heavy fiberglass. You're gonna get hurt. Don't do it. And they'll like stand up and like rearrange themselves, and I was like, you guys are stupid. But if there's ever the case that somebody gets out of the boat, we have to stop the entire ride, because they are now on like the in zone of the ride. They are not where they're supposed to be. So they could like run into wires, they can run into like hazards. They just cannot be back there. Only operators and supervisors can be back there, not even the ride attendants. Operators and supervisors only, and the mechanics, obviously. So there was one case where this one like teenage girl, I don't think I was operating that, I don't remember, I don't think I was up there for that, but she got out of the boat and then ran out the grass and hopped the fence to get out of the ride. And then, but her friends stayed on though, so like obviously security was called, and so they had to like wait for their friends to come off the boat to come back to the the entrance and exit area, and so they were waiting for them. They're like, "Where's your friend?" And they were like, "I don't know." And
They may have not have actually known. They might.
Yeah, but like covering, so they were banned. Yeah, you can get banned from rides, and don't try to go back on if you're banned. Sometimes we'll remember, sometimes they don't. Don't tell
You
them
know
that.
what's another situation of how did I get here?
I haven't even told the main story yet.
Oh my goodness.
So that's just the lead up. So, back to that 40-foot tower. I was in that tower operating, making sure everybody was following the rules. Here comes a boat up to the top of the tower right next to me, and this guy starts kind of like looking like he's like standing up. So I was like, "Sir, you need to stay seated." And then at that moment, he hopped out of the log and into the tower with me. And I was like, "Don't move." So, like, obviously, his family, whoever he was with, was like, "What are you doing?" And then they immediately, like, went down the hill. And I was like, if one wrong step, he could have fallen 40 feet onto the ground, onto, like, a water cement channel, and onto, like, even grass. 40 feet. That's gonna do some damage.
Probably die.
Yeah. And so he hopped out of there, and he was, like, leaning over. I'm like, "Don't move a muscle." So I grabbed the phone and called down to the front of the loon to be like, "Hey, I got somebody in the tower with me," and luckily there happened to be a supervisor there at that time. So she was like, "What?" "Excuse me?" So they stopped the ride, and she had to cross over, because you have to, like, to get there, you have to cross over onto a boat and onto the grass to cross. Crossed over, came up, got the guy. When he was up there, I was like, "Are you okay?" Because he just kind of, like, looked kind of, like, woozy, so I'm assuming he probably jumped out because he was scared or whatever. But it's like, at that point, just go over. If you pass out in the boat,
Puking's
it's
normal.
safer, like... It's going to be safer if you pass out in the boat than trying to leap out of it and, like, putting yourself all the way up there. So, and it's very slippery. It's like this deep, like, you know how pirate ships look? It's like a wooden board with, like, these little tiny rectangles up. It's that. Leading up it's that, and a steep ramp incline to 40 feet in the air, which can get
Did he
wet.
get banned?
I don't know. Probably. Hopefully. So she had to go up there and, like, guide him down and get him down. And then she came back up to me and was like, "You know, you need to make sure people stay in their seats." I'm like, yeah.
Listen, if they're jumping, it's too late.
Yeah, because I have the ability to physically force somebody back into their seats, because in that instant, I know they're going to get out at the top of the flume. So, yeah, and then I was just
why I
like...
made Ashley come work with me.
I was like, how did I get myself into this? What did I sign up for? Because I have so many more horror stories from working at that park.
We'll end with
What?
this last one, because we've talked for a while, but you were part of this. So, in one of the Halloween attractions we worked at, we were called last minute to go work in one that was, like, spider themed.
Mm-hmm.
So, the jumpsuits were kind of tight. I have big boobs.
They were like morph suits.
They were like more suits, and of course I had like stuff underneath because it was like winterish.
Mm-hmm.
It was cold.
Yeah, so we had layers on because those aren't going to keep you
Yeah,
warm.
so I had layers on top of a more suit, so it made my boobs look really big.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were running against people, you remember, like, they're like, "Oh, look at those milk jugs," or
Mm-hmm.
what else did people say? Because I've kind of just like, it made me so mad.
Didn't you say that people did like grabby
Oh
motions
yeah,
to
some
you?
people went like this when I was when I was close to them, or someone said something about, "Oh, not even my wife has big boobs like that," or something like that. People just like pointedly like just staring, and
It's like disgusting because there were some like children working that, because you have to be 16 and up to work it. So it's like they could have been talking to a child, and either way,
there were some children in the freaking cart with these people doing motions at my boobs.
Either way, that's disgusting. Don't talk to another person like that.
So like, of course, I'm like, I'm never working this particular like place again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not like the whole attraction, just like that one section.
Area.
That one section. I'm like, I never want to be here again. Yeah, and it just kept like happening. I'm sure there was more because obviously I was angry at the moment.
I was livid.
There
I
was
so
like,
mad.
and I would tell Ashley after everyone because we were like across from each other.
And
but
I'm
like,
just like, they did what? I would have gone. And of course,
I think at one point they even tried to touch me.
Oh yeah, they'll like reach out and try to touch you.
But it was a big thing on my boobs that night. So like one time they're like, "Do you guys want to work back at Spider?" And I went, "No." They didn't ask why, but if they asked why, I would have told them why.
We told somebody why.
I think our other section.
Yeah.
The people that
we
we
told them.
tended to work with,
Mhm.
I think I told
And
them.
then we didn't know at that point that we could have called it in. They could have like banned them for harassment.
It was just so many people.
But
though.
we also didn't even like have a walkie. Like we wouldn't have been able to keep track of like who
couldn't find a
exactly
walkie
was.
person.
We couldn't find like that area was super spaced out, and like we didn't get like proper training really because we had to miss orientation.
I don't even know if they got properly trained.
No, but they were like people who knew the area. They've been there before, but they were all the way at the other end. So we would have to like hunt them down to find a walkie. So by the time we could find a walkie and call it in, they'd probably already be off the
But
ride.
also, there's
because that
no
was the
point
last
because it was
section.
like every single tractor there was some sort of like sexual harassment towards my boobs.
Mhm.
So that was fun. I think people did something to Ashley too. Something. I think didn't someone call you like a midget or something?
Oh yeah,
Which is not a good word. Don't use that word. They
all
don't.
people
no.
did was like they would comment on my size. They'd be like, "Oh my god, it's so tiny. It's like a little child. It's like a dwarf.
Don't comment
it's so
on size.
little." And I'm just there like,
Yes, Ashley is like small, and some people may want to look like this. But do you think Ashley is perfectly happy with her body either? Just like I'm not perfectly happy with her body. Don't comment on people's bodies.
even like at work, like I'm in a workplace at a retail store, and people comment on my body. They'll be like, "How much do you eat? Do you even eat?
How much
How
do
are
you
you
weigh?"
so tiny?" I've been asked how much I weigh. I've been asked like what my pant size is.
What's normal is how tall are you? I'm fine with that. That's like literally just it is what it is.
Yeah, but it's just like stop commenting on people's bodies because then I have to remember like, oh yeah, I don't like how I look.
It just is what it is, and but yeah, that really sucked. Like people were always like just at my boobs. That one time I wore, it wasn't like particularly restricting either. It wasn't like super tight.
No,
but,
it
like,
wasn't like a
I think it was just the way it formed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that was fun. A lot of this, and like people like husbands with their wives and their kids would comment on my boobs, and people trying to touch me.
It's not near. I mean, like them calling me like short and like midget and a child isn't nearly as bad as that.
Yeah, but don't use the midget word. They don't.
No, because
That's a bad
not
word.
a preferred word, and I'm not even that
It's
short
derogatory,
either.
right?
Yeah, I think it's derogatory. But I'm not even that short either. Like people are like, "Oh my
I'm-
god, she's so short." It's
I'm
like,
only like an inch taller than her.
she's only a couple inches taller than I. Like I'm not that short.
Even a couple is like stretching it sometimes.
Because I'm like 5 foot even. Like I'm not quite 5'1". I don't think. I haven't measured myself in a long time, but I'm technically over 5 feet because I think I'm just over that. So I'm like not that short. I mean, yeah, short.
Listen,
but like
if you're going to some sort of amusement park, just
leave people alone.
leave people. The workers are there, so you could be there. So just leave them alone.
If it's like, haha, you need to make jokes or whatever to make yourself feel more comfortable, that's fine. Don't comment on the
Yeah, 'cause
workers or the other people.
Thing is, though, someone like there's always posts on people like, "Have you ever been sexually harassed?" My answer is usually no, because people just making grabby motions at me doesn't seem to. Maybe
But I
because
mean,
I'm
it
just
is
used to it because I'm a woman,
Yeah.
which is awful, and that's like stuff that women always get commented on is like their boobs and their
like,
butt. So maybe I
technically,
just
yeah,
didn't
because
think about it.
you have like been with like all those comments with that guy that came up to us and was like trying to like be really creepy and like harassing us. So technically, yeah. So
Also, when we were on a school page, we were asked if we were like porn stars and something
yeah,
like that.
because it
We
was, like-
mentioned that, I think.
we were on our school's like class webpage asking if there was anybody involved in like social media
They're
communications
like, if you wanted to
who
team
would
up,
like
'cause
to
we're-
like give us some tips or like help like work with us on stuff. And we got like one comment that was like, what type of films? Adult films? And so I was like calling them out. I was like, what do you mean by adult films?
My teacher was like, when I told my teacher about it, my advisor, she's like, "Who are they? Tell me."
You should have.
And I didn't because I just didn't want to deal with maybe the embarrassment or the repercussions, maybe. I didn't want to ruin somebody's
We actually
life.
ended up. Why not? They're being awful.
I
They
didn't,
deserved
but
it.
here's the thing, when you're in the moment, a lot of women can, will say this, and
Mhm.
you read about women, it's just like,
Why didn't they come forward?
it's not like, why didn't they come forward, but more like, you're scared for yourself. Like,
Yeah,
if
and
you
that's why they
report
didn't
them,
want
you're
to.
scared for yourself. But, yeah, so, fun stuff.
How did we get here? Just by existing as a woman. As a woman.
As a woman.
As we deal with that, and we got ourselves into those situations just by existing as a woman.
Or just in existing in these situations, things just happen. So.
Yeah.
But we'll end this one here.
We'll
If
try to
you-
like come up with other stories because we both have like stories. We know we have them.
You
but
gotta
where
dig
we're like,
for them.
how
You
did I
gotta
get myself there? We have a lot of them, and
you
we just
gotta
couldn't
just-
think of them for this.
I need something that will spark it because I probably buried it so deep in my subconscious.
So we'll make notes about our we'll make notes the next time we come up with this, and if we get enough, we'll do another round of stories like this.
Let us know about some of the situations you got yourselves into.
Hopefully not harassment, but just like funny
No.
situations where we're just like, well, this is happening now.
It doesn't have to be funny. It can, if you want to say something like that too.
Yeah,
Sure.
anything you get into, like,
Any situation.
yeah, we had a wide range here.
So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, all of the things. And always, bye guys. Bye guys.
That was a really weird wave.